Hi, Habib.
Hi,
Hi. First things first, I'm glad that you're here and you have joined us on such a short notice as
my
well.
pleasure.
I'll directly deep dive into the conversations that we're going to have. We're going to talk a lot about AI today, and someone like me who's just started his career doesn't know much about AI, just the ones that I see in the news. But I'm sure someone like you who is into the enterprise end, who talks about AI governance as well, I'm sure you have lots of insights that I'll be learning today. I think this would be my pretty much selfish way of having a masterclass from you, that too free of
Well,
cost.
and that'll be pulling it too far. But yeah,
Right.
I'll do my best with
Right,
whatever you
right,
want to ask.
right. First things first, I've gone through your work. You have been into marketing for most of your career, and now that you are into AI as well, I'm sure the transition must not have been that easy, or perhaps to say must have been challenging, of course. So I want to understand how was your journey first, right from your career, starting from marketing to entering into
Sure.
AI.
So, quite to the contrary, actually. I was always a technical guy.
Okay.
Uh, Marketing just happened because perhaps the technology wasn't there yet, or maybe quite a few variables in early part of my career and all. But yeah, I've always been a tech guy. I mean, I was hardly in 11th, I guess, back in the day when I had developed my first website. That was 1998, and so yeah, that's how I started. Um, Marketing just happened because it was my creativity overtook my passion for technology, and that's how I landed up in marketing. And marketing back in the day was nothing to do with technology. Essentially,
Right, right,
it was more of writing with pen on a paper,
right,
setting up kiosks at where people would be at
right, right,
supermarkets
right.
or malls and stuff like that.
Basically, visibility.
Yeah, it was very very BTL.
Right, right.
ATL was quite expensive for brands to go. Only big brands used to go for ATL. So BTL was the way to go. So
I want you
that's
to please, sorry, interrupt. PTL and ATL, please.
below the line and above the line. Above the line is essentially your mainstream media, newspapers, televisions, radios, etc. Below the line, BTL is where you set up kiosks in societies. You find like
A community.
economical ways essentially to generate leads, as it were. So that's all below the line.
Right, right,
So,
right.
right.
Yep,
So
sorry,
we
please.
had those So yeah, that's how marketing started, and marketing is something that I still love. But unfortunately, what has happened is marketing is no longer marketing. Now marketing, only big brands can afford to do marketing, as it were. Right, they have the luxury of spending time and money on building a brand, building a reputation of a brand.
Right.
Right, the smaller brands or the startups, they do not have that luxury. They have to be generating revenue from the word go. So they, off late, which is the brand which started off in the last 10 years, which you can truly call a brand, like say a Nike or an Adidas or a Pepsi or a Coke, right? These are all big brands, right?
Right.
I mean, today Louis Vuitton, right? That's way out there, right?
Right.
But even if a consumer brand like say a Sony, right? If you go and buy a television of a Sony, right, a 65-inch would cost you nothing less than a lakh and a half,
Right.
perhaps,
Right.
right? But then there have been so many of these smaller, consumer brand companies that have popped up in the last 10, 15, 20 years, which you don't even know the name of. Nobody would know them. Nobody would know them 5 years down the line or 10 years
Right.
down the line,
Right.
right? So the the idea of the brand itself has shifted, right? People do not focus or do not want to focus so much on building their brand rather than going for the revenue. They want to earn quick because they know that if they spend time on building a brand, that would cost them money, that would cost them time, which they do not want to invest in. There are still a very few that do spend that time to build their brand. It takes time. It's a lot of pain to go through, but once you establish that, then then your revenues are all taken care of, because then you have your specific group of target audience, or your buyers, your customers, who you can appeal to, or you don't even have to put out an ad. They would buy from you because they love your brand. They want to be associated with that brand. That that brand loyalty somewhere has vanished off the map of late. So that's what the shift in marketing has been. So yeah, coming back to my journey in marketing has been truly awesome. I've been privileged enough to work with quite a few big brands, as well as quite a lot of startups. My specialty has been working with startups.
Right.
I've worked with a lot of tech startups, right from how their brand vision should be, to their go-to-market strategy, to actually taking them to an expansion stage, right from pre-seed to Series C, perhaps. So I worked with a plethora of startups, be it tech startups, or be it conventional, conventional startups as well. So yeah, so that's been essentially my journey. AI was always a kind of a hobby back in when the first paper OpenAI Labs back in 2018, when they first released a paper, right? It was how transformers are shaping things. Transformers is something that has actually made the AI that you see today.
Right.
Transformers is something that is making that possible. Okay. I mean, that will get too technical, but
Right.
The AI that you see today, the generative AI, it's not really intelligent. Okay? It's not intelligent. It's just regurgitating what has been trained,
Right.
in different ways.
And in speed.
Of course. So yeah, AI was bound to happen. At least for me, it was bound to happen, because that was the natural progression of my association, or my love, or my passion towards technology. Even before, say, AI happened, right? There were a lot of these technology companies, SaaS companies, which were offering a lot of automation tools. Right? Automation was the name of the game back in, say, 2010 to 2015, 2018. Right? A lot of automation.
With CRMs and all.
Yeah, essentially marketing automations. The entire customer
Sales.
journey used to be mapped onto those automations, and you, as soon as somebody fills up a form on a website, right, within 5 minutes you get an email.
Shopify.
Hey, it was wonderful having you on a website, and blah 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 blah. Right? What was that? That was automation. Right? It's just that now it is being done in a more intelligent way, just because you have an advancement in technology which enables you to do so.
Right.
So yeah, that's broadly has been my journey so far.
Right. And I have a couple of questions, since what you've mentioned. One is, you mentioned that when effectively marketing is done by a brand, somehow it also enables revenue. You don't even have to think about it when it goes to that level. I want to understand, is today marketing is again equals to revenue somehow? Good marketing.
Well, I mean, good marketing, bad marketing, that's a whole different topic. But yes, marketing has always been
About
a
revenue.
part or about revenue.
Right.
Because you would not see, essentially marketing is seen as a spend. Right? Marketing is always seen as a place, or a black hole wherein you keep on putting money. But then I mean, it's like you spend X amount and you expect 10x in revenue. So that's where the ROI game comes in. But marketing has always been about revenue. Right? While sales is directly visible, it's actually going out there and selling things. Right? But then why that sale is possible is what marketing does. To enable the sales to happen. Because if a pen, right, a pen, there would be like a million different companies producing the same kind of pen and blah blah blah, right? Now, why would a pen or a pen manufacturer spend money on marketing? A salesperson can take the pen, put it in a shop and you sell it, right? People would just come, they might not even say whatever. But then what sets apart a normal pen from, say, a Mont Blanc or a Parker, right? The perception. How do you perceive a product, or how do you perceive the name associated with that product?
Right.
That perception building is what marketing does.
Right. I'll go a little deeper. Does this perception marketing also work on individuals, human beings?
Absolutely.
And how? Any examples that you might?
All right.
Because again, there are lots of human beings.
Lots.
Right. But then there's some who specifically stand out.
Bill Gates. It's example. Right. Bill Gates, right? Bill Gates, or say Steve Jobs, or say now off late Sam Altman or Elon Musk, or all of these giants. Right?
Anyone from India? Anyone from India?
Anyone from India? Most of them are from India. Sundar Pichai, Satya Nadella, or you name it, right? Or even for that matter, let's say, and our industrialists like an Anand Mahindra or Ambani, or all of these the giants of the industries, right? Let's say Ratan Tata, right? So all of these people, you see reels. Right? You see reels today, you see videos made about them, right? That's true today because the economy has shifted to content creation, right? You can create a video about a topic which you might or might not be passionate about, you might not be interested in as well, right? But let's say there is a whole lot of the industry that pops up, it keeps popping up and dying out.
Right.
And it might go dark, but this is something that recently when Ratan Tata passed away, right? A couple of months after that, you would have noticed a whole lot of content revolving around that person, how amazing he was, all the good things that he did. There were so many things that he might not have done. All of those things were wrapped and associated. Like the internet was flooded with Ratan Tata.
Right.
Right. Why do you think that was? People were so in love with him? No, it was a trend. So we are living in a trend-driven market.
Right.
We're living in a trend-driven market. We are not here. How many podcasts exist in the market in the last 12 months? Before 2023, podcasts were only few and far between.
Right.
There was a huge market in the US and the West largely.
Right.
But now podcast is everybody's business.
And that's because of the trend.
That's not just a trend, because it is a monetary or monetizable trend.
Okay. Wow.
That is a monetizable trend.
Correct.
Soon, let's say a year down, who knows? There might be something else that might catch up. Right. And it will catch up because AI avatars are in place. Your voice can be cloned and it can be made to sound very natural. Right. So you and I might not be we might not have to sit and talk. Our avatars can do all the talking, and that can become every day you produce a video, push it out. Why? Because instead of you taking that effort of producing one good podcast which might or might not get you say 1 million views, right, which would bring in an X amount of revenue, right, you take the easy route and you create AI generated content, AI generated avatars, AI generated voice, AI generated content that the avatars talk, right, and push one video every day for the next 365 days. Each of them might not get say 20,000, 25,000 views, but then cumulative effect will bring you that revenue. Then why would you take that effort of doing the hard work
Right.
when you can achieve this easily?
Right.
And you don't even have to. I mean, there are already automations in place. You don't have to think. You just be. You can be holidaying somewhere, right? And your AI engine will keep spewing these videos every day.
This brings back to what Elon Musk have recently said in an interview. He mentioned that probably in the next 5 years, work would be not a necessity, but a passion. I want you to comment on that, since we're talking about AI and automation.
See, again, I don't know whether Elon Musk is some kind of a oracle who can see the future,
Right.
but I don't see that happening, at least not in India.
All right.
Okay, because see, honestly speaking, first the reality of our nation right now is that we don't have jobs. We don't have enough employment. Right? Most of our youth are unemployed, and that's the hard truth. Right? Whether or not that becomes a choice is a whole different thing. It might be very true for a country like Sweden, Norway, where the population is very less, and they're
The GDP is high.
I mean, all that, all the luxuries of life, and they're all right, financially speaking. Even if they choose not, and they already have those laws. I mean, they don't have to work more than 5-6 hours a day, and that to 4 hours a week, 4 days a week.
Right.
Right. But a country like India, or the South Asia, or the subcontinent, I don't think that's going to be a reality anytime soon.
In India, at least.
No, because first of all, we don't have jobs. I mean, see, we keep talking about AI is coming and it's going to take our jobs. I mean, we don't have jobs for AI to take away. AI is only going to expand on the unemployment. It cannot take jobs away that we don't have. We need to have jobs for AI to take away, right?
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know how that would pan out, but at least for our country, I don't see that happening. We will have more unemployment, yes, for sure. But then again, the way the trajectory AI is taking today in our country, I still don't see that happening, because we are way behind the rest of the world as far as this technology is concerned. Not a single original model have we developed. We have not allocated tangibly. On paper there is a lot happening. Every state government is on paper they are pushing money behind. Oh, we are making this data center, we are making that data center. But in reality, we are way behind the rest of the world.
Right. What would it take for a country like India to have the luxuries of the work culture or the opportunities that the other countries, or at least the tier 1 countries, have as of now? What would it take in not getting into the population part, but apart from that?
Okay, this will not sound good, but
because I really feel that other countries are very privileged right now, since we are talking about this. So I want to understand, what would it take for us to have
that's
that
not
luxury?
entirely true. See, it's not as if US has 100% employment. Right, US or Europe or any other country for that matter, they have their own share of problems. Right. But the difference is that they are struggling, they are fighting, they are doing a lot of things, but at least they're addressing that they have a problem. We don't have it. We and again, this will be a very
Controversial.
not really, but then everybody knows it. It's like an open secret. We are a people who love to sweep things under the rug and act that everything is all right. Until that mindset changes, I mean, let alone development, we are at a stage where we have to distribute free rations to 80 crore people out of the 140 crore people that we are today.
Right.
That's more than 50%. Right? So how do you go and tell a person living on, like, on the mercy of government to eat his basic meal? How do you go and tell that person that, hey, amazing technology, तुम्हारा life change हो जाएगा? How do you tell that to that person? You can't. And that person won't care. And until that person doesn't care, we're not going anywhere.
All right.
We might build amazing stuff. See, the thing is that, there is a lot of things happening. I mean, we are coming up with a lot of great stuff. Indians are doing good things, but they are not doing great things in India.
Right.
Indians are fantastic. We are amazing, brilliant people. But all our brilliance is being beneficial to the world at large, rather than it being beneficial to our own people. And until that changes, we'll be asking these kind of questions, and there won't be any answer to it.
Right. From a larger perspective, how does global economy or global world look at India? Is India a consumable market? Like how do we look at it?
Honestly, I'm not an economist. I have no idea how economies work at large. But then, as far as technology is concerned,
I mean, are we just consumers?
yeah, India is a consumer market. That's what we are. Why do you think all these world brands are crazy to enter India? See, 65% of our population is under the age of 35. That essentially means that this population is rife for, spending, because that is where all your major life milestones come into play. Right? You're under 35, you've been working, or you've just started working, or you are say you've just gotten a promotion, you've gotten some extra expendable income, right? So you spend, or you have the capacity to borrow and spend. That is the age, right? How do you think all these huge concerts where the tickets are exorbitantly priced, and they are overflowing with people, who's going there? This population, the 65% population. I mean, it might not be the entire 65%, but yes, those are the people going. Right? And this is a fact that people borrow money, they take instant loans to buy those tickets and go attend a concert, which is great because they can pay back, they're working, they're in their prime. So India essentially is a consumer's market. Any brand that you see, you will find the world's biggest brands, you will find a shop in India. Why do you think that is? Because our people can buy it, but then they are not targeting the entirety of the 40 crore people. Right? They're targeting that small top 10%.
Right.
They're targeting those people, and that's more than enough.
And this is a question again, I would want your perspective on this. What would it take for us to shift from a consumer mindset to a producer or manufacturer mindset for the world?
For us to have...
Is there any brand as such that's working currently
on
shifting this mindset from consumer mindset to manufacturing?
Not that
mindset?
I'm aware of. I mean, why would a brand want people to shift from consumer mindset to a builder mindset or a maker mindset, right? Brands, they want to sell.
Right.
That's not going to happen by any private entity. We as a people will have to change, and I honestly do not have an answer to what would make it happen. I wish I did, and even if I did, what would I do? I'm not somebody, I'm not a politician, I'm essentially just another guy. Right. But then no, I do not have that answer, and I hope somebody gets that answer and fast. Because see, I mean, lifting up from just our country to the entire world right now, human beings have been masters at self-destruction. We are amazing at self-destruction.
Right. Chaos. Yeah.
Right. If there is peace, we have a problem. Throughout history,
Right. Of course.
right? We cannot sustain peace as humanity, the species,
Right.
right? And I believe the technology that we have built so far has done some good, but has done a lot of bad.
Right. Right. That we are not
No matter
yet
what
aware.
technology it is,
Right.
even even the latest one, the AI, right? AI is great. If you use it properly for the purposes it is meant to be, it's fantastic. It's a tool. Okay. Then again, it's not really a tool from a different point of view, but we'll come to that later perhaps. But the way we are going after it, as if you the way people are talking about it on online on YouTube, you see all of these podcasts and videos and explainers and all of that stuff, right? You might think this is the answer for all our prayers.
Right. As if your life depends on it.
No, you're going to achieve nirvana after this. That's how it's being projected.
Right.
It's not. It's not even intelligent. It's just been trained to do a certain thing,
Interpretation of data.
right? So essentially, a large language model is been trained.
Right.
But the chat GPT that you see is a mask on that. You cannot, or you do not interact with the LLM. You interact with the mask. The mask has been trained to be very pleasant to you, always agree with you, be very condescending. I mean, I find it condescending. No matter what you tell it, right? Oh yes, you're right. It will never disagree with you, or it will never counter ask you until you have put some parameters where
Change.
you do, and that too very
minuscule.
minuscule.
Not much. Yeah.
Right. I mean, how do you then expect humans to grow from here? Because the thing that got us so far was our thinking. Now we have outsourced our thinking to an external tool.
Wow.
Right. So how do we expect us to grow from here to another point? The faculty of thinking got us here.
Right. I mean, the very
And
reason for our evolution.
that itself we have given up.
Right.
So recently, I was sitting with somebody. They got an email that it was about something, and the simple reply to that would have been like, hey, thank you for writing, and I look forward to meeting you, etc.
Right.
Now, that person did not take that effort to write that 2 lines. That person told the co-pilot, reply to this email in a positive, thanking, etc.
Right.
यार आप वही 2 लाइन उसमें लिख देते, right? So we have completely outsourced it. We have given up our ability or our choice
Right.
to think.
Right. This is actually very deep because we have been evolved throughout the centuries, years because of our thinking ability. And now that we have given up, do we even evolve from here on?
See, there are people. So again, see, it's not just complete black and white that everybody has just shut down their minds.
But does that also make the power will be shifted to very few concentrated hands?
Yes, that will happen. See, the people you would see succeeding from here are the people who are using this technology as it is meant to be, or it ought to be. There are a lot of great things that you can achieve,
Of course.
right?
Of course.
While you not losing your faculty, your ability, your critical thinking, your creative thinking, right? You still can achieve a lot of things. But yes, that gap is going to be huge. People who just use it and outsource everything to it, and there will be people who use it intelligently to get something out of it, get the work done. just like how you would do it with like a team of yours.
Right.
But you being there thinking is important.
Right, right. Let's shift the course. I'll get into your profession now. We've spoken about marketing and AI. It's quite interesting. But having said that, since you're the vice president at ACI Infotech as a strategist, I want to understand what you do, on a day-to-day basis. What's your job? How does your typical day look like?
Well, it's chaotic to say the least. So my work right now is about the new platform that we've come up with.
Okay.
Okay, so essentially this company, ACI, has been in the market for last 2 decades now. Okay, essentially it's always been a managed IT services company, offering data services, data engineering, cybersecurity, cloud modernization, etc. Now, we've come up with this platform called Arc AI.
Okay.
Okay. Now, this platform essentially is just like any other agentic AI platform.
Okay.
But the difference that we've brought in is the governance angle to it.
Okay.
Now, when I say governance, it sounds very drab and very bureaucratry and very
Right.
glaze your eye kind of a conversation. But it's not actually. See, truth is, while billions are being spent by enterprises around the world in AI-fying their processes, right? Everywhere you go, every company that I have spoken with, be it a mid-size company, a startup, or a Fortune 500 company, okay. So the pain point that very often pops up is that, hey, we want to implement AI, right? But we don't know how exactly would it be after we do.
Right.
Okay. Because see, there's something called as hallucination. That's the most common thing that everybody would know, right? To make this simpler.
Talked about.
Okay.
Yeah.
There are a lot of other things as well. Those are very technical. We'll not go into that. But just say hallucination. Why does a language model hallucinate? Because primarily the training is not enough.
Okay.
Okay. It doesn't have the precise context, the framing of your prompt, and the perception of that prompt by the LLM, and it not finding that precise information.
Right.
But since it has to reply something, it will make something up. Okay, and this is a very primitive kind of an example.
Right. But is it through the intelligence, even the hallucination that's happening? Is it out of intelligence or is it out of just mere?
It doesn't have intelligence.
Okay.
It doesn't have intelligence. It just has a command.
Right.
That there is a prompt, you reply. Okay, and it doesn't even think in sentences.
Right.
The LLMs that we have right now, they do not think in sentences or paragraphs. They do not. It's on probability. What word would follow this word in this context? The LLMs that we have, their length and breadth of intelligence is one word at a time.
Okay.
That's about it. Okay. So let's say there is hallucination happening. How do you stop that hallucination? There are ways to do it. There are guardrails you put around it, and you ensure that your prompts are properly, ingested, okay, and you train that model beforehand. All of that thing, right? But still, for a startup, implementing an AI in their customer services process is easier than say
Fortune 500.
like a Fortune 100 or Fortune 50 company or a Fortune 500 company for that matter, right? Because one wrong answer and they'll be liable to pay millions in damages. They might be sued. There'll be a whole lot of thing going on there, and that's not just they're going to be sued. They have to pay money. Their share prices will tank.
Right.
Right. It's all about reputation at that level. It's all about that, like, even a slight misstep and, like, a whole lot of money gets wiped out of their account.
Right.
Right? So they do not want to take that chance unless they're sure that this will work. How do you ensure that that AI will work? Because AI by itself is not intelligent. But there are ways that you ensure that it works, it performs certain function within the parameters given to it. So ArcAI essentially provides those parameters. Okay, so there are 3 patents that I filed recently, and these 3 patents are the methods in which you ensure that your AI is governed. These methodologies are, just to give you an overview, is say how your prompt is ingested. Okay, so that we call it like a prompt compiler.
Okay.
Runtime prompt compiler. Now, at the time of ingestion, what is the intent of that prompt? There is a score to it. Okay. Then we have something called as a dynamic RAG.
Right.
Okay. So RAG is something of a guardrail. Okay. Now what happens is RAGs are pretty common. Every LLM which ever got implemented in any kind of real time process has been put behind a RAG. Okay. But the problem with RAG is that RAG essentially is a set of rules that you set for that language model. Okay. But you can only think of and set that many rules. But what if that additional scenario comes in? If, let's say, you have put in 100 rules for the language model to act within, but what if that such a scenario comes in which wasn't in your 100 rules?
Right.
What then? Okay, that's where we, like, there was a need of something which learns and dynamically updates or upgrades itself within certain parameters again. So think of it like a RAG for a RAG. Okay. And then we have like a super orchestrator, that's like a trust aware orchestrator, we call it, right? So the orchestration is a super agent. Think of it like a super agent. Okay. And there are multiple different agents working under it within certain parameters. Every agent is supposed to do one single task. Okay. And to perform that task, it needs an approval from the prompt compiler. What is the intent of that prompt? And then it queries the dynamic RAG if it is allowed to perform that task. And when it performs that task, it needs a token, a one-time encrypted token, which the orchestrator provides it. Okay, everything is okay, go ahead, perform this task.
Right.
And once that task is performed, that token is gone, but an audited report is saved in the logs. And from this agent passing on to that agent, because there are multiple agents working in tandem. So one agent passes on the task completion to another, that token is passed on, and so on and so forth. So every action that an agent takes within your ecosystem is not only safe, but it can be audited, and every audit report saved. Because being a public company, essentially all these, like, the Fortune 500s are publicly traded companies, right? And they have to submit their financial reports to SEC, for example, right? So what happens is that at any point in time, if there is an audit happening and any decision taken by your AI agent is in question, then you will have a complete chain of thought along with proof that why this action was taken. And there is always, like, there are humans in the loop.
Right.
Let's say there is a very high risk category action that needs to be performed. Let's say there is an automated shutdown for the weekend that needs to happen of your cloud server, for example, right? That also is one of our products. Basically, we've recently, built that. There's a whole lot of wastage that happens because some programmer forgot to shut down the instance in AWS. AWS bills you, but then what if there is an agent, there is a set of agents that keep track of all your instances and can shut down temporarily or pause temporarily those instances, saving you money. Right. So why was this instance in AWS or Azure or GCP paused or shut down? Then you will have an entire audited chain of history.
Right.
So this essentially is what RKI is. While RKI does all the normal AI stuff, but while doing all of that, it is governed and it is compliance ready.
Right.
So that's what essentially it is.
How different is it from other enterprise AI that other companies use as of now? If you talk about the difference or the USP, is it the governance part or the patents?
Very different. It's very, very different. Because largely all AI offerings today that exist, okay, be it a solution, be it like a service, people would tell you that, hey, we have this amazing model. We have this amazing model, we have this amazing this, we'll do this in... All of that is fine.
Right.
Your language model is not really the problem. Right. Different models are good at different tasks.
Right.
Right. But then how do you ensure that that model is performing what you intended to and not anything else, not
Beyond
even
it.
an inch beyond what you wanted to?
Right.
That assurity nobody will give you.
Wow.
That is something that, and again, see, if you read recently, there has been reports that governance is becoming mandatory. I mean, a lot of governments are bringing in these laws which companies have to adhere to when implementing AI.
Right.
So governance is in the play, and I think we have been early because we launched this in July. In fact, there was a panel. We recently got an award also for that, for governance and compliance innovation in AI. So yeah, we have been early to the party, but yes, finally things are happening which require us to be.
What's your blueprint on a day-to-day basis? That these are the things that I need to work on, because I'm sure it's very ambiguous.
It's not ambiguous as such, but yes, there is a lot of research and development that needs to happen still. Every day there are new tools coming into the market, right? And which essentially, like for example, Google's anti-gravity, right? Now, anti-gravity essentially is a playground for you to create different agents and give, and those agents will do simultaneous tasks. Right, and you can do wonders with it. And anti-gravity is not just limited to, say, Google's language models. It integrates with Claude. It integrates with any GPT or whatever. Right. So, being a person who is at the helm of an AI platform, an agentic AI platform, how do I keep myself a little bit ahead? What is it that makes my customers trust me more rather than going with the big brands? Of course, pricing is something that we definitely are way ahead of them, right? What we can do for a penny, they can't do for a pound. So that's one difference, but that's not always the case, because companies are not going to just come to us because we are giving something in a less rate. Right. They will think like, okay, no, these guys are new, whatever, but I'll go with AWS or Google or whatever. Right. But how do I keep on differentiating? Because it's no longer a time where I can create something and rest for the next 2 years that, hey, I've made it.
Right.
Every day is a challenge. Every day, my team and I, we work on finding out what is about to happen. If it has happened, if it is in public, we are late.
Right.
What, and even we do this exercise kind of weekly, that okay, what is it that we can expect in this week? We have that kind of a game. So what we can expect coming.
Right. And I'm sure this is where your marketing skills also comes up, because
it does
for a
help.
product
Yes,
that such.
it does help. Because see, the only advantage that I see me being at this place at this time is that there are very few people that I have met, I've come across, who understand technology and are able to take it to market.
Right.
See, understanding technology and explaining technology are two different things.
Correct.
So there are very few people, and I'm lucky enough that my interests align in a way that, I can think of technology and I can also explain or sell the technology.
Right, right. In layman terms, when you say you advise corporations, enterprises, uh, in terms of AI adoption, what exactly it looks like for a layman person like me, let's say.
See, enterprises or companies, be it any company, okay, even normal people, right, who are using ChatGPT or Claude on their day-to-day basis, right? They, I see them thinking about this as a tool, just like a software. Like, let's say there was a Microsoft Word, and you got some new shiny toys to play with. That's wrong. AI is a shift in mindset. It's not a tool, it's not a new software, it's nothing new. I mean, if you want to really be successful at, say, for an enterprise or a company, if you want to AI-fy your processes, stop thinking about AI like a tool or a software. Start thinking about it as a shift in mindset.
Right.
That
right.
is what it is.
Right.
You need to shift your mindset, see it as something that you absorb within your process, instead of saying that, hey, we got this, now see what you can do with it. That won't work.
Right. This really wants me to ask this question to you. Has AI been the need of the hour, or just an invention, a fancy invention which is fast? Was that a necessary to, the need of an hour per
See,
se?
again, this we might be able to answer, say, 20, 50 years from now. Right now, we are in the middle of it, so we don't know.
Right.
Need, I don't know, but it was bound to happen.
Right.
See, the way the trajectory of technology was going, this was bound to happen. It was
I
bound
believe
to happen.
COVID has fueled a lot of it.
Not really, no. COVID hasn't really fueled this. GPT-1 came way back.
Right.
I think it was 2018, 2019. It wasn't really GPT back then. There was a lot of these white papers or the thesis being written.
Not very famous.
Yeah, only the people who were into it knew about it.
Right. Like beta users.
No, it was way technical back then. Way technical back then. If you were into if you were learning machine learning, or if you were trying
Into
to
technology.
yeah, only those very close circle knew about these things. If you ask me that, was it really necessary for this to be made public, out in the public domain for everybody to use? I would say no, we could have lived without it. It should not have come out in the public the way it did. Because we, as a people, as a collective human species, we are not yet mature enough to use this technology in a way, I don't know, I might be wrong about it, but that's my personal opinion. We could have done without this technology being out there in the open. This is doing wonders in life sciences, by the way. Life sciences researches, medicine researches,
environmental.
yeah. So all of those things, great, fantastic. But out there in the public, where I can sit and create some senseless video about some vague topic. That's a power I don't think I should have, because if I am not an expert, or a little expert, if I'm not an enthusiast in a particular topic, and I'm creating content and pushing it out, that's not something I should be able to do.
Right. That's really amazing. But then, I want to understand, let's say the consumer AI that we are all using as of now, let's say ChatGPT, which is open source, and we are using it somehow, versus the enterprise AI that Fortune 500 companies, let's say, are using. what are the differences in terms of abilities? Like, are we using just base level ones, and then there's something beyond that's happening inside? I want to understand the market, in the industry part.
Not really, no. The funny thing about AI implementation is that nobody has been, or largely, nobody has been able to actually implement it in any meaningful way.
That's a very big statement.
That's as straight as I can be. Nobody, largely, I'm saying, there are very few companies who have implemented AI in real meaningful way. And I say meaningful as in they've really automated their processes. They've done smart work in it. It's flawless. Okay, in our lingo we call it scale up. Right now, about 80-90% of companies, 80-90% companies are in pilots. They'll approach. Even we get a lot of inquiries that we want to implement AI. Great, fantastic. Recently, I was on a call with one large company. I won't name it. So they wanted to build a chat bot.
Okay.
They wanted to build a chat bot which would, in natural language query, it would display what is the status of their warehouses, what SKUs they have, all of that they wanted in a dashboard and a very normal natural language query interface. Right. I said, all right, great. Where are you housing your data? Oh, they named XYZ CRMs they have, and they have some Excel files. And I said, okay, hang on. You have HubSpot, you have Salesforce, and you have Oracle, and you have Excel files. You know what that tells me? That tells me your data is not ready to get into the AI system. You're not ready for AI. Because if your data is not streamlined, where would this AI bot go and fetch that data from? Will it go to your Oracle API? Will it call the HubSpot API, Salesforce API, or will it go and fetch in your million different, final V1, final V2, final .xl? Right. That's just not going to work out. So what we ended up discussing is that we are going to soon begin that work of we are going to assimilate all of that data, integrate and clean it up, put it in a data lake house, and from there perhaps we might be able to build something really meaningful for them.
Right, which works.
This is the reality of most of the companies. See, not all data can be structured in any company, no matter what. Not all data, because see, companies have been working in some cases for decades now.
Correct.
Right? And that much data, you cannot really, in any meaningful sense, you can't structure it. Not all of it anyways. So the magic, the real difference any AI company can make is the ability to build a system which communicates or makes the structured data and the unstructured data converse.
Right. Coming to this again, adding on to this, when companies are adopting AI, or let's say any adoption for that matter, for any systems, I want to understand how are their data protected. Because I'll just tell you, recently Samsung, JP Morgan and different other companies, they have actually are not encouraging using AI in their systems because of data leakage, at least in the informative part of it. I want to understand what are the scenarios of these kind of cases, and how do you as a AI strategist work on these kind of cases?
See, depends on what you're using for your AI. Like, let's say a person in a very sensitive role is using ChatGPT, for example, right? Although ChatGPT says that your data will not be used to train their models, but is there any quantifiable way for us to know that is an objective truth? No, we don't. So if I, as a person working in a sensitive area, let's say I'm managing finance of a company and I'm using ChatGPT, right? For ease of use in my day-to-day work, I might upload certain files as reference to ChatGPT and ask it to summarize it, review it, etc. Right? How is that data being treated after I upload it? We don't know, right? So that is a risk. Let's say we are, and that's just a ChatGPT, like a public-facing ChatGPT interface. But let's say there is a system built in some process which uses some API, Claude or Gemini or GPT, OpenAI API, right? How protected are your files in the MCP that has been, like, the MCP servers where, or your RAG, for example. For an AI model, an LLM, to be useful for your specific purposes, you need to, at the bare minimum, fine tune it. Right? You can easily fine tune your OpenAI models, right? For that, you need to create a knowledge base, a vectorized database, right? You input that data. Now, how would you create that database, or what would be there in that knowledge base? All of your company information,
right?
And your company information can't be just your brochures or your sales material. It will have to have the history, the financial trends, and maybe sometimes some sensitive information. And that goes out there. And once it is out there, we do not know how or where or when it
Can
might
be exploited.
Exactly. So we are not there yet. So there are ways in which you can protect it, but these are the tough questions the enterprises are fighting with
These days.
to strike that balance where you can automate your processes, you can bring in AI, and yet not have, yourself susceptible to attacks or some lawsuit.
We will talk about the narrative that has been set now by all these giants. Elon Musk is one, and then Sam Altman, and then we have Jensen Huang. The narratives that have been set, they all have different opinions on AI. So I want to understand, what is your take, when you listen to these people making these kind of narratives, what is your take on it?
See, again,
and this is not a clickbait, I really want to know.
I understand. See, these are all great business people. These are some of the most brilliant minds of our times. All of these people.
Right.
I mean, they're there because they are brilliant. Right. And of course, a lot of variables involved, but no credits taken away. They are there because they are simply phenomenally brilliant. All of these people. But the way, see, again, NVIDIA investing in OpenAI. OpenAI investing in NVIDIA. And same, for that matter, that entire ecosystem is a circular economy right now. Okay? It's great, fantastic, if they can sustain it and get something meaningful out of it. Otherwise, it's going to be, I don't know, it can lead to something fantastic, or it can be really, really terrible for humanity.
How sustainable is AI?
Just to give you a context from where I'm coming, all the data centers, and there are some massive data centers that are being built these days, right? Just to keep them cool, you need millions or trillions of liters of water, fresh water. right?
Right.
As it is, we are having shortage of drinking water. Right. And when this fresh water, trillions of liters of water, is running through those pipes, cooling those systems, the data centers, right? And especially these data centers are largely made in dry and arid places like Texas, Idaho. So where is that water coming from? And if that water is coming from somewhere, and it's not just water, there is power. Elon Musk is importing an entire hydroelectric power system. Recently, was it Google invested $25 billion to buy an entire hydroelectric power plant somewhere near Pennsylvania. Right. So there is a huge consumption of power, a huge consumption of fresh water, just for you to generate a Ghibli version of your photograph. Let's just put it that way. That's why I say that did we really need this technology out in the open for everybody to use? Maybe not. To process one simple request, there is a cost. And cumulatively, at any given point of time, let's say there are 1 million people prompting, right? There are hundreds of megawatts of power is required to process that request. Training a language model costs less than retrieval. Right? Retrieval costs more. So, recently, it wasn't recently, I think it was last year, some time ago, I guess, Sam Altman said that, stop saying please and thank you to AI. Because every please, processing that please also costs. And there is a consumption of power there. Right? So, okay, let's step back and yes, AI and the usage of AI is costing a lot of energy. It requires a lot of energy to run. It requires a lot of water. It requires a lot of power, all of that, right? Now, when you think about jobs, there are two ways. People are split between these two thoughts. One school of thought is right now that when the dot-com boom happened or the dot-com bubble burst, right? That time and now, the difference is that at that point in time, anybody with a .com, a website, was able to raise millions in funding and do something with it. If you're selling something on your website, you are raising millions and you're doing something with it. But then now everybody got that. Everybody was in that .com race. So that bubble burst. But the infrastructure that got built at that time, the fiber optics that were laid at that point in time, are coming in use today. Our majority of our internet that exists is because the infrastructure that was laid down at the time of that .com boom, right? That went bust, but we are using that infrastructure now, right? So, and a lot of people who were into web development, marketing and e-commerce and all that evolved. A lot of people lost jobs, but then the software industry gradually picked up from there. Right? And India was the biggest beneficiary, one of the biggest beneficiaries of that software ascendance to dominance. Right? The biggest import of biggest export of ours is our services to IT. Right? Now that software or the IT industry itself is under pressure from AI, because at one point in time, to create a normal SaaS app, okay, it would have taken say 6 months at least, $100,000 in expenses. You would require some 10, 15, 20 developers depending on the complexity. You would require a project manager, you would require a delivery manager, you would require etc., etc., right? So now your development is taken care of largely by, say, a Claude Code, okay, with maybe one developer to oversee it. You would require an architect, a person who architects the entire solution. So earlier where you required 20, 30 people, now you are making do with just 2, 3. We are, for that matter. Right now, we are using a lot of these AI tools to build a lot of things, right? While we don't have a large team in our KI, right? But we are using technology. But to build the same thing 10 years ago would have taken a huge amount of resources in terms of money and manpower and hours. So that shift has already come, right? And now on top of it, there is these geopolitical concerns of the H-1B visa getting expensive. So there is expected to be a lot of layoffs from there because the companies might not be so inclined to spend $100,000 to renew your visas or sponsor a new visa or stuff. So there might be an influx of those engineers coming down to India. Now those are very talented people. They've worked in real world scenarios. They've worked on real products, real services.
Right.
So now imagine an engineer a computer engineer who passes out of a college as it stands today. 97% of such engineers, again, I might be off by a few, but this is something that I read, that 97% of computer engineers who pass out cannot write a compilable code.
That's in India?
Yeah, India specifically.
Okay.
A huge percentage of engineers who are just passing out of college, they cannot write a compilable code all by themselves. So we are going to see a lot of these jobs going away, and maybe something then picks up from here, just like software picked up from .com. Maybe something picks up from here, and then this again transcends into something else. All of these jobs or the people transcend into some other function. And that's again a hope that I have that this happens. But the flip side of it is, yes, there will be a lot of job losses. There already are a lot of job losses happening. Big companies are laying off people left, right, center. So yeah, that is a concern, and there is no answer, and I don't think anybody has an answer for that as of now. People are, again, the who's who of technology are all saying that no, this is going to change. The people will, there will be new jobs coming in. There will be people who work with AI. But you don't need a lot of people to work with AI, because AI itself does a lot of work off a lot of people. So you need 1 or 2 people to work with AI.
How will India be?
Well, we'll see. No one knows. I hope that we learn quickly. We do something about it immediately, like yesterday. And we do come up with a way of addressing the basic problems that we have right now. Because unless, as far as our country is concerned, unless the basic problems are not solved, where people are malnourished, people do not have homes, we can't go and talk about all of these things to those people. We need to fix a lot of basic problems before we start even considering talking about the bigger problems. It's all great, for people like us, we are privileged, we are educated, we have a home, we don't have to worry about what we'll eat before sleeping or what might happen tomorrow morning. We are privileged, we are highly privileged. But majority of our population still has to worry about, like, they go stand, you'll see, they go stand in those spots where people will come and they'll pick 10 people to come work at a construction site. For them, AI is meaningless. At least the physical labor is not going to go away anytime soon.
Okay, it will take time. Of course, that will also go in the future with the,
Hope
with the
not.
robots and all that.
Hope not. Yeah, the 3D building technology is here. Great, but see, again, we are living in a very tumultuous, we are living in a very transitional times wherein we do not know what will happen, and anything we talk about right now that what might happen is just gonna be like, wild guesses on yours and mine parts.
Are you excited being in this transition as of now?
Yes.
Or are you terrified? In what way?
Personally speaking, I was born in a time wherein the majority of the population made do with transistors, radios, right? I've seen a time where, an entire colony of people used to gather in my place to watch Ramayana every Sunday morning 9 a.m. Right? And if somebody, like my neighbor gets a call, we used to run to call, auntie, you got a call. So I've seen that time then. So for me, it's personally speaking, it's very, very exciting that and highly privileged that I've gotten to see the entire transition in front of my eyes, from where we were in my childhood and where we are now, where I don't even need and very soon we won't need phones, these devices, as it were. I'm sure that will come.
Right.
We used to think about, like, before, I don't know whether you remember, there used to be a whole hoopla about the Y2K bug. So there used to be this whole thing about back in, like, when we were about to touch the year 2000, we were talking about, like, the Y2K bug, because earlier the dates were 1998, 1999. Right. So the moment, like, it strikes 2000, then the software will go into a glitch that how does the date go in reverse. So there was a whole thing about it.
Okay.
Right. So
interesting.
It was a thing.
I'll read
Software
about it.
solved it. But then now we are at a place where we take technology for granted up to such a level that there is a Alexa in a house with which we can just talk and control the room temperature, the volume, the lights, the fan, everything. Right? And we are at an age where we used to talk about, after 2000 the world is going to go so, like, technologically like hyper that we'll have flying cars. We did not get it immediately after, but we do have flying cars now. China has it.
Right. Everything. I mean,
China has a flying taxi. Now we have a driverless cars already. So I'm really privileged and I'm really happy that, I got to see this entire journey of humanity. I mean, at no other time, at no other time span has world changed so much and so drastically as it has in the last 35 years. It's crazy. So yeah, I'm excited. Why not?
Are you scared too?
Oh hell, I'm shit scared. I'm terrified. That's why, like I said, I don't want to be anywhere near civilization when the shit hits the fan, and it will, in some way or the other, it will, because I mean, I believe in humanity.
What are your thoughts when you look at someone who's newborn, who's just born now? When you correlate with AI and the kind
Again,
of
I mean, that would be the old guy in me talking. I somehow, I'm happy for them, excited for them, but I also, in a way, pity them. I mean, one, they are born in a world which which I'm hoping I'm wrong, but they will grow up in a world which has lost its humanity. The unique things that make us human, the empathy, the warmth. We can see it, we can see it right in front of our eyes, that warmth
slowly
fading away. And imagine, I honest to God, I hope I'm so wrong. I mean, I would be happy if I'm like absolutely rubbishly wrong. But the way us humans are, we are crazy, power-hungry creatures.
That brings to almost the end of this podcast. Must have a couple of questions. Let's say there's a startup who has just started, right, and they're thinking to take ahead the AI adoption flow. What should they be doing on a very beginner stage? And this is again a professional-led question because we have discussed many things.
Like I said earlier, stop thinking about AI like a tool or a software. Okay. If you are going to really make use of AI, use it in a way that you shape things around it. Think of it like one more employee that you've hired. An employee that requires constant guidance, monitoring, but an employee who quickly learns as well, who's amazingly intelligent. Shape things around it. Don't think that, okay, we've hired 4 people, we'll get subscription for ChatGPT and Claude and this and that, and we'll solve problems. That's not going to work. You got to make a conscious decision of changing the mindset of not just yourself, but all the people that you're working with, to use AI as part of the entire ecosystem of yours. And that's an advantage startups have.
Right.
Large companies do not, because startups do not have the baggage. And you will see, and we are already seeing single person companies, one person companies, and one person $1 million companies.
Right.
And that's happening, and that's going to go up. And I think that is where I have a big hope that will bring in a sort of equilibrium, that will balance things out a little bit.
Right.
But the question again, on a lighter note, if everybody is solving something, everybody is selling, who's going to buy? And with what money?
Right.
People not having jobs, people struggling to make do. And like you said, 40% people are selling. That's going to go to 60% people selling, right? And the rest, if everybody is selling, who's buying? And with what money are they buying?
Last question. I know I've been asking many last questions, but then apart from RKI, we'll take out RKI from the equation. What's your favorite AI company or tool or whatever you might call it?
All right. Not going to endorse it though, but my personal off late, very very recent favorite is Claude Code, especially after their release of the Opus model. Because Sonnet was great, the coding was good, but after this Opus, it's phenomenal. The level of intelligence that coding system does is amazing, and not many people know the full use of it, the kind of connectors that you can have within it, the kind of MCPs that you can connect with it, and the extent. I mean, the sky is the limit. Trust me with that. Just one small tool with it, and it's available with your $20 or $25 subscription a month. It's available there. So yeah, that's what I would say.
On that note, we'll end the podcast. It was great having you.
Same here.
And
Pleasure.
I know that I just scrape a little bit of what you know. There was lots more I could have asked, but keeping the timing in constraint, I'll end this here. Hopefully, if at all it made sense, I definitely would want to have you again, probably in the next 1 year or so.
It'll be my pleasure to be back.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
great
you.
having you.
Thank you.